This is a second stimulus check and stimulus package update for today. And with great new, exciting news about pandemic unemployment assistance and UI benefits. The $600 from the federal government, your state benefits, the extension of benefits, and more. And we'll be answering all of your 58 questions from yesterday's video about unemployment. Thanks for tuning in. This is LALATE. As always, like and subscribe to this video and drop your comments below, and we may feature them in tomorrow's recording. And please hit the bell on the front of this channel so you get an alert when we have an update about the second stimulus check and stimulus package. Earlier today, we delivered two other second stimulus check and stimulus package updates. First, we did one on the exciting announcement of 50,000 new jobs from one major restaurant chain in America. So that was our second stimulus check update about jobs. I know a lot of you want jobs. That one's one to get you a job. The second stimulus package update was about grants and loans. Another new grant was announced today. So if you need a grant or loan for your business, we have an update in there, and we also have an update about the grants and loans we announced earlier this week. A lot of great, exciting news. This video is going to answer your questions about unemployment and pandemic unemployment assistance. Thanks for joining me. If you have been with this channel since April, you know we've been detailing PUA, pandemic unemployment assistance, and UI, unemployment assistance, since day one, April 24th, when we launched. The reason why is because we were announcing to you as the program was being rolled out across the country how to apply. Sadly to say, it has been months now into this program, and some states are paying, some states aren't paying. But what we've done, and this is really great news, is we've really guided you through the process of how to get funded, how to get your money, how much you get for the money. And so this video is specifically about unemployment assistance. Now, let me go over the details about this again for you, because there's some broad stroke questions that always come up, and this is really great news. So let me first explain to you the two items. There's unemployment assistance and there's pandemic unemployment assistance. When we talk about unemployment assistance, we also often call it UI. When we talk about pandemic unemployment assistance, we often refer to it as PUA, because that's what the acronym is for, PUA. There are two different instruments, but one is for one type of person and another is for another type of person. And here's where the confusion often arises. Unemployment assistance is when you're an employee, that you are a W-2, that you're employed by Macy's. Pandemic unemployment assistance is when you're self-employed. You're an independent contractor. You're a painter who goes out and paints houses and gets a check directly from the contractor as a 1099. The issue is that some states, for a reason we really don't know, have really messed it up. And so some states have put you in the wrong side of those two things. And what I've always said to you is the following: don't worry about it. Because a lot of times viewers of this channel has said to their states, you have me on the wrong side and you're paying me benefits on the wrong side. Well, if you tell them that and they don't want to fix it, then who cares? Because the reason why is great news is that ultimately the amount of benefits is the same. Here's how benefits work, whether you're UI or PUA. It's the same on both sides. You first, and I'm going to also explain to you the whole process to getting approved. I'm going to explain to you the process of getting approved shortly. But benefits start at your minimum benefits of your state per week. So if you Google your state, let's say it's Tennessee, and you type in Tennessee minimum benefits, they'll come up a grid and it'll actually show every state what their minimum weekly benefits is. And it's generally about $130 to $170 per week. It depends on what state you're in. Now, that is per week. It's before taxes. Now, under the CARES Act, which was passed in March, the federal government will pay you through your state an additional $600 on top of that. A lot of viewers have asked me this question. So they said they saw something in their UI screen with their state, and it says you're approved for $137 this week and $137 that week. And they say, well, where's the $600? There's two things. One, some states don't put it in the portal. They don't put it in their website. I don't know why. They're lazy or the website doesn't really work well. Doesn't mean you're not getting it. They just don't put it in there. Two, the way they pay you the $600 sometimes is separate from the $167. So it can be as separate as it comes as a separate direct deposit from the 137 from the weekly, or it can come by a totally separate different means. I've seen where some states are doing debit cards for your weekly, and then suddenly you get a check in the mail for the 600. Now, let me explain to you how the 600 works and where it works. So you will get that $600 from the federal government each week on top of your weekly benefits. If you are impacted by COVID-19, you certify for weeks from the month of March to the month of July. We don't know what's happening after that, but that's really good news so far. It's a lot of money. If you calculate it, it's about $700 per week. And if you are impacted by all those weeks, that's a lot of weeks. March, April, May, June, July. It's 4 to 5 months, 4 weeks each at $700 a week approximately. It's a lot of money if those are weeks that you are impacted. Now, viewers have asked me, okay, how do I get the money? How do I what if I go back to work? And that's a really common question. So let me explain that to you. The way that unemployment UI or PUA, Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, works is you first have to apply, and then it says you are approved, you're eligible, and it calls it the eligible year. It's approximately a 12-month period. It's an eligible year. That doesn't mean you're getting payments for 12 months. It just says you're eligible for that period. Now, what you have to do is you have to certify for benefits every week. What does that mean? It means you have to go into their portal, or you can also do it by telephone, and go in there and answer a series of questions each week so that you ensure that you get the benefits for that week. And the questions will ask whether you're impacted by COVID-19, you couldn't work that week. Now, here are a couple things to remember, and I've discussed them before, but they're so important, you got to remember them. This is really great news. And this is all part of the second stimulus check and stimulus package debate. When you go in to ask to certify for weekly benefits, 2 questions you absolutely have to get right are when it says, were you willing to work? And were you physically able to work? You have to answer yes to both questions. Were you able to work means were you physically able to work? And were you willing to work means were you mentally willing to work? The answer has to be yes. Last, another thing that really trips up a lot of viewers, and it was a lot of topic of discussion back in May on this channel, is that when you're doing pandemic unemployment assistance, remember that's the independent contractor one, your employer is yourself. So they use the word employer in some of the questions, or employment, or employer. First of all, you don't have an employer or employment because you're not a W-2. That is the word you need to focus on. So if you're an Uber or Lyft driver, the answer is you have no employer. You are independent contractor. Don't put Uber as your employer. They're not your employer. If you're an independent contractor, they don't want you to put. Here's an example. If you are employed, if between you and I chatting, you say, "Well, I'm employed by my LLC. My own LLC employs me." When you go to do PUA, you don't list your LLC as your employer. That's not what PUA wants to hear because it's too confusing for the computer system. You are self-employed, and so there is no employer. All right, so. Then a lot of questions came in overnight in one of the second stimulus check updates about PUA and calculated when you have a job that you go back to, but the hours are reduced. Okay, it's a great question. If you went back to work last week and you worked 3 hours, but not 40 hours, and you're wondering, hey, can I still get unemployment assistance because I only work 3 hours? The answer is yes, and you're going to follow up me the question of how much. Well, first of all, there are a lot of great online tools that you can type in your state. You can type in how much you made last week from your job that you worked 2-3 hours. And then it'll come back with a calculation. It'll say, okay, instead of getting your base benefits of $139 or $169, you'll get $65, you get $75, you get $85. It'll do the calculation for you. It's that easy. It's great news. Finally, a lot of you have always asked, I haven't covered it in a couple of weeks, but I know it's always a topic of discussion, retroactive benefits and escalated benefits. So if you certify for benefits and say you were impacted by COVID-19 back in March, that you applied in May, you applied in April, you can get retroactive benefits. They don't pay them right away, but they do pay them. And they pay them back to those weeks. You have to certify for the weeks. Next, escalated benefits. I gotta tell you, of all the things that we have covered on this channel that has not been done by states, it is escalated benefits. And that is when you made a certain amount of money last year, at least $30,000, and you qualify for more than your base level benefits of your state of $150 or $160. You qualify for the $300 or $400 per week, and you want to have escalated benefits, and you have you have your 1099 available to prove it up to them. They're very slow on paying escalated benefits. I've had a couple of viewers that have gotten. That's great news. But boy, some have not. So let's get to some of your PUA questions. There was 58 of them. H2O, I was told by my state if I go back to work, don't close out the account. Keep recertifying every week until the deadline closes, because if you close out and get laid off, then you have to go through the whole qualifying process. If you keep your account open by recertifying, you'll stay open without having to submit a new application. I don't know. That's a really great question. I know that if you don't certify for the week, you lose the week. But I've not heard, and I'd love the answer. I don't know the answer. Can people drop in the comments below? It may be different in every state. If you don't certify for the week because you were back at work, does your file get closed out? I have seen that in some states when you don't certify for a week, you just don't get paid for that week. It expires, and then they'll ask you about the next week when it comes along. I've never seen that they actually close out the file because you didn't certify for a week. Fadi, still, I didn't receive my PUA benefits. One, pending issues be done. Stay with it. Robert Henson, who's a supporter of this channel, thank you again, Robert. Georgia has extended to 12/20, so feed the Weebles. So Georgia has extended their PUA and UI benefits to 12/20. That's good. Vicky Vaught, you're busy today. Yes, Indiana has 39 weeks with extension. So we detailed yesterday that a lot of states have activated, this is great news for second stimulus, they've activated the extensions number of weeks, and here we go, share some of the answers. Kenya, I still haven't gotten PUA. I did get the grant after 3 weeks. Grandma Ducky, you're on fire today. Well, thank you. Tango H, you seem very happy and humorous today. Am I right? Maybe you can share something about us. Are you a teacher? No, I'm just trying to, when you're doing a lot of recordings, you just have to keep motivated. What state's going to start doing that of what you're talking about? Or do you have to reapply for unemployment? No. And that was yesterday's video. I want you to all be in these systems for PUA and UI, whether you're need them yet or not, because hopefully you applied back in March. I want to drop this comment as well. If you did not do PUA or UI and you're just watching this video in June, but you think you qualify for it back in March, you can still apply. It's not like it's too late. Remember that one of the grounds for applying for PUA is that because of COVID-19, you weren't able to work in your full capacity. That means that if you normally would work 40 hours a week but could only work 2 hours a week, then you qualify for PUA. Also, another grounds for PUA application eligibility is you cannot reach your place of work because of COVID-19. So an example of that is, you do something for a school and the school was closed, and you're an independent contractor. That's an example of that. Good job, Interceptor, good job. I can't wait to see your next video. Your EIDL skits are right on. Thank you, Latoya. LA, you're the bomb. Well, thank you. Nakena, hello. You do such an awesome job. Do you have to get denied state unemployment benefits first to be able to apply for in order to apply for PUA? I'm an independent contractor, so I'd like to know if more likely you denied state benefits. Okay, so this is a great question. I'm sorry I didn't remind myself to go over that earlier in this video because I've done this so many times before. This is a new viewer to the channel, so I could tell. This is the way PUA works. And this viewer, Nakenya, is an independent contractor, as he or she says. So the way some states, most states require it, is they require a PUA person to first apply for UI and get denied because they're an independent contractor and UI is only for W-2 employees. Then when they have that denial, then they apply for PUA. Some states require that denial from UI before you apply for PUA. Other states don't. They usually state it on their website. Now, I have heard in some states they require you to do 2 denials, which I don't understand how you do 2 denials for UI. It just seems very strange. Some states have the same form for both PUA and UI applications. So it's not like you could get denied and apply and eligible in the same form. You just do it one time. So it depends on your state. But yeah, most states require that denial to get the approval. Sean Lazarus, the 52-week frame has always been there because your claim is always from 1 year to you start. So you got to work and then lay off and then refile. It's called reopen your claim. Also depends on what you earn too in the time from you work. Great. AWZ. In Washington, they have PEUC, pandemic emergency unemployment. So if you run out of your existing PUA, I think it's for 13 weeks. Illinois is only approved through December, not a year. Libby, wow. Awful. Renee, what's really sad is that some of us work 2 jobs, but you can't get unemployment for both. UI and PUA are not happening together. So if you work 2 jobs, it's like you're getting penalized. Rock B, LALATE, the Portman Act is going to only be payable if you aren't on PUA. I saw this comment. It's a great comment. Thank you. To flow next chapter. What if I run out of balance before July? Oh, boy. So if you run out of unemployment assistance balances before July, then I've had that comment before. I think you're in trouble because, and you have to hope that the HEROES Act passes, because this person is basically asking what happens if his unemployment assistance expires and he doesn't have the extension. Oh, wait, let me back up. So under the CARES Act, you're in trouble. But as I stated yesterday, some states extend the benefits beyond the normal number of weeks. So you need to look on your state and see how many weeks they extended it. They may have extended it already because of their own individual laws. Travis Bell. So do I have to set aside $120 for $600 to set aside for taxes? I say $120 set aside because let's do examples. Let's say we get taxed $20, 20%. Oh boy, another thing I forgot to go over. There's so much. Thank you for the question. That's a great question. So, as I said before, when you go to certify for benefits for PUA, UI, and you then get that money, and it's the $137 approximately plus the $600 from the federal government. That's $700 per week. And if you say don't deduct for taxes, don't withdraw for federal taxes, you get all the money. You get all that money. But next year when you go do your taxes, it's taxable. So you need to keep track in your mind which one you're doing. I recommend do it the same way so you don't lose track of which one it is. So it's probably best to not ask to withdraw for taxes, but keep money on the side because you're going to have that money ready to pay for taxes when you go do your tax return next year. So yes, do I have to set aside $120 for every $600 for taxes? Well, you have to have it ready next year when you go pay your taxes because you're getting this $700+ per week, and you haven't paid taxes on it, so you're going to pay taxes on it next year when you do your return. Dog G, in Florida, retroactive benefits is not automatic. You have to request it. Annette, there goes that woman on her broom. Yeah, you already heard her today. Dora Angeles, what is the website for the grant for the $1,000 grant? What's the website that you go to? That's the EI. Here referring to the EIDL grant. It's sba.gov. Mazurk Mark Gaming. I got to apply for EI unemployment first week of April. Now I don't get the money. Am I in Florida? I don't know what that means. Joseph Dreamhouse. My husband applied for PUA in Florida, and since April, no word. Can never reach anyone by the phone. Gustavo. Yeah, Florida's a hot mess. Florida is a hot mess for everything, and I am sorry. Of all the viewers of this channel, that is the state that is just not paying UI and PUA benefits. Gustavo. Question. After the $600 in July, I have $167 for my state, but I need to work because $167 is nothing. So if I work and make $400 a week, and I still get $167 from your state? No, but you'll get something. So as I said before, so if you, Gustavo, you go back to work and let's say you make, you said you make $400 a week. Well, go to one of those online calculators, put in the $400 a week, put your state in, and then it'll shoot back a number to you. I don't know If there'll be anything left to pay you $167 per week, or $10 a week, or $5 a week, it might be zero. But it depends on how much you get paid. So if you got paid $50,000 a week, no. But if you got paid $20 a week, yes. The question is where it is. I don't know the calculation by heart. D, the president has the power to call either both houses of Congress for a special session. Good point. Angela Davis. Hey, LA, love your video. Well, thank you. Joseph Dreamhouse. Nike. Good job. Well, thank you. She Bossy. They need to chill on the unemployment income because they're making more than me. I've been working nearly close to this. Ridiculous. And people are staying home and making a lot of money. I mean, that's really the discussion of the Republicans. They're saying that, hey, a lot of people may not go back to work because they're making more money for unemployment assistance. But if you have questions today, second stimulus check or stimulus package update, drop it in the comments below, and we love to feature in tomorrow's video. There's two other second stimulus check videos today. One on getting you jobs, 50,000 new jobs. Can you imagine? 50,000 new jobs offered today. And second, a video about getting you grant money, new grant money, never announced today until today.